Then Chuma. Okay. I was a woman transfer. You keep a you told me 500. GH. Okay. Yeah. What up, folks? What up, folks? We're back on it again. Afternoon section ongoing. All right. I just want to be sure our environment is ready to get down to the DM. All right. I think we are good on this one. All right. Let's see what we have here. Mm-hmm. All right. All right, I want to say good afternoon to each and every one of you that is currently joining us live on this afternoon section. Just like you guys know already, what we do here is every day, all day, Forex, financial market, anything at all that has to do with market, we do it here on FX Adventure. All right. For the guys that joined the morning section, you already guys already know what it is. On the morning section, we had a call on some interesting market that we thought that we saw good opportunities in, but quite unfortunately for us, some of them failed to meet our expectation. Of course, you guys know the rule here. For the guys that have been joining the live streaming, I don't think I need to overemphasize the fact that what we do here is expectation versus what price is giving us. All right. So in the morning section, just like I said before now, we had some couple of expectation. Let me drop some stuff in my comment section. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah. So in the morning section, we had a look on some of the items you're currently seeing on your screen. One of them is Aussie dollar USD. The other one was USD JPY, and etc etc. So the reason why we did not take most of the setup that you see or we saw in the morning section was because of the fact that the internal structure and the expectation of what price did not align with what we wanted to do at the time of price build up. All right. So in the afternoon section now, we'll just take a little bit of time, glance through what we have on our watch list and see if there is any price that is closest to what we expect, and we'll be trading that price once we find any. All right. So right about now, we'll be kicking off with the USD JPY market or currency pair, as you are, as the case is. Right here, our bias is still the same. In the morning section, we wanted a buying USD JPY, and we saw some interesting expectation that we had play out, but the confirmation and how price did the confirmation was one thing we weren't aligned with, and due to that fact, that is why we did not take the trade. And as you can see, that was a good move for us not to take that trade, because just looking at the price action coming into this afternoon, I can see clearly that nothing much happened afterwards. Okay, so you can see price rarely went up. Price has just been ranging since then. So my expectation here for USD JPY will be price to go down before coming up. That is our most ideal type of setup that I would want to see here on USD JPY. On the other hand, It's also interesting to pay attention to the internal structure, but I just measured out the external structure, and from my own humble experience and from the dynamics of what I've seen play out in the financial market as a whole, and I know why I'm using the word in my humble experience, the best possible outcome, which will be the plan A. For the guys that are in the live streaming section, if this is not your first time joining us in the live streaming section, when you hear plan A, this is not the first time you are hearing such word. Of course, our plan A, which is our one and only plan, we are not going to be doing plan B anymore, because of course we did plan B yesterday and the plan B took our time. At the end of the day, after taking all of our time, price did not give us what we wanted, and we don't want to be caught up in such situation anymore. So this is the plan A for USD JPY. For anybody that is joining us live, this is what we want to see happening on USD JPY. In the meantime, before we continue, if you are joining us live currently, please remember to like the video, share the video across people you feel like is going to benefit from the content we make here, and that's all. And that's the only way you can give back to the community here. That's the only way you can show appreciation for the little time we spend here. And I appreciate each and every one of you that has been consistent in joining the journey and has been believing in the strategy that we've been using here. You guys are the MVP. I can't take it away from you guys. You guys are the reason why this channel rocks. You guys are the reason why this channel is still standing. And I want to take our time to appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. So this is the plan A for USD JPY. Anything outside of this, we are not interested. Let's head straight up to Aussie dollar USD. Our Aussie dollar USD trade is still similar to the expectation we have in the morning section. All right, the expectation is for price to go down. There is need for price to go down. And when I mean there is need for price to go down, before any other thing happens, there is need for price to go down. And I will portray and I will explain while the music is playing in the background. All right, so give me a minute to get on to that. Okay, so for the afternoon section, this is what I envision to see on Aussie dollar USD in a situation whereby the opposite does, or in a situation whereby the expectation of what we want here is not so, we'll leave it alone. So this is the plan A of what we want to see here on Aussie dollar USD. The expectation is still similar to that of USD JPY, which is what we want price to come down to take out the low of the Q2 of the day. Once that is taken out, we want to see price to gradually build up liquidity and change the market structure for the buy move. Of course, we are still looking for a buy here on Aussie dollar USD. Now, if in any way price decides to take out this high, see that line there? If price decides to take out this high before coming back down, we will not look at Aussie dollar again, at least for today. It means that price is not aligning itself to our expectation, and it's best bet that we leave it alone. All right, okay, so now we'll head straight to US Tech. US Tech is the next item I have here on my watch list, but you guys already know the drill here. For the guys that have been joining my live streaming section every day, you know for a fact that I like to use S&P 500 to gain the understanding of what I think is happening across all the major US indices. And what I mean is like the UX 500 followed by their siblings in the likes of UX 30, US Tech, and any other US indies, whatever you want to call it. So instead of looking and picking our analysis from US Tech, I'll rather go to S&P 500, which is US 500, to pick my analysis from. Okay, all right. Of course, coming here, our expectation and bias is still the same. Remember, I told you guys we want a buy-in US 500. I think the Q2 of the day has given us a very good amount of manipulation. A very good amount of what? Manipulation. So what I expect to see would be an internal structure on the Q3 of the day to align itself properly to what we want to see. And this is the expectation, because I'm going to draw it out to make it easy for each and every one of you that is joining us live currently right about now. So this is what we want to see here on S&P 500. We want an S&P 500 that is going to do what? Trade down, take out the Q1 of the Q3 of the day. After that, we will now want to see price to gradually build up liquidity, then change the market structure for the up buying move. This is what we envision on US 500. All right. In the meantime, that is exactly what we want. In a situation whereby that's not the case and price decides to go up first to take out this high, then we are no longer interested. It means, and mind you, when I mean I'm not interested, that doesn't mean that there is, if price breaks that high, that it's not going to buy. There is high chances that it's going to buy, but due to the fact that we have a strategy, we have a plan, we have something that we are using to ground ourselves in the market, it only makes sense that we box ourselves in that strategy and make sure we don't do anything outside of that strategy. Of course, I know yesterday we tried to do plan B and all of that. Yeah, we can always come up with other approaches. There are so many ways to kill a bird. We can come up with 1,000 of them, but the point I'm just trying to make sure that I pass through to you guys is have a strategy that works and stick with it. Don't trade anything outside your strategy. And based off on currency correlation, I think we have an idea of what we want price to do here on S&P 500, or as the case is US 500. On the other hand, with the understanding here, if we are not going to US Tech, like I told you guys, I don't need to reanalyze this anymore. Neither do I need to reanalyze this guy also anymore. The only thing I'm very interested in right now is to see how S&P 500 is going to manage trading down first before going up. If they go up, fine and good. But like I said, the best bet is to see price to come down first. If that's not the case, we'll do what? We'll leave it alone. No need to force the trade. No need to do any of those. You leave it alone. All right? Okay. Here we have the German index, which is DE30. We call it the German DAX 30 index. Here on the German DAX 30 index, of course, I can see some nice accumulation in the morning, beautiful manipulation, expansion on the upside. Here I see a very nice accumulation on the Q1. Q2 is already expanding here on DE30, which makes sense. And I would like to see how price is going to react with this guy going forward. So for me, DE30 looks very interesting, like something we want to trade. So I'm going to move it at the top of my watch list. So just by going to the watch list, I think we've been able to pick out one guy that is looking attractive and is looking like what we would want to trade, and that's why I'm moving it to the top of the watch list. But with that said, I want to put it on record that, remember I told you guys, most indices follow S&P 500 or US 500, right? Now, while we have a good setup here on the German DAX 30 index, which is very nice. I like the market structure I'm seeing there and how it's been playing out, which is very good. But at the same time, we need to pay close attention to what US 500 is doing in order to calibrate or align ourselves properly to what we might expect DE30 to do. And what I mean DE30, I mean the German DAX 30 index. So that's that about that guy. The next thing we have here is gold. Quickly, you see how I'm going through it quick. No need to waste time. Quickly, as soon as possible for us to get it out. Here on gold, I like the Q2 accumulation, very nice, and at the same time there is already a manipulation of that Q2, fantastic. The only thing we need now is to see the low of that one taken out. Everything needs to go down first before it goes up. That's the way I see it, and that's the way it should be, right? So what we envision here, is still similar to what we've been talking about. Is what downward move, give us the wiggle, then take us back up. That is the kind of move I would want to see here on gold. And of course, if we see it play out the way we are speculating it, it means that price is aligning itself, and that would increase our confidence level and our urge to take a trade on that particular guy. So for now, I'm going to move gold up in the watch list because it's looking like it's something I would want to trade. It's looking like something that I would want to trade. On the other hand, this guy is playing out okay. Like this guy still have a long way to go, in my own opinion. We'll still rearrange this. I want to make sure that I have everything in check. Here, let me see what Aussie dollar is doing. Aussie dollar is trading up instead of going down. Remember, I told you guys they need to come down first, and coming down they need to do. If they don't do that, we are not interested. All right, let's continue. Let's make sure we've gone through all the items we have here in the watch list. Then we will now focus on the ones that we think we need. Aussie dollar CHF already is looking crappy. I'm not trading this guy. It's totally not aligned at all. Here on a Canadian CHF, not aligned. I'll leave it alone. Here on, who is this guy? This is DXY. Okay, on DXY, which is the dollar index, looking at this, a very nice accumulation, but now you see price, instead of going down, manipulated up. Then there is high chances that price here would want to go down, but I don't know. Looking at the daily trend, I am of the opinion that I would have wanted to be buying DXY, but based off on the market structure that I see here, and based on the price action that I see here, I think it only makes sense that we'll leave DXY alone, because it's just like having an idea, or you are speculating for a particular currency pair to trade up, right? While you are speculating that, price action on the other hand is doing the opposite of that. It only makes sense that you respect yourself, drop any other thing you're doing, and make sure you pay attention to price action, because price action over expectation, price action over trend line, price action over line chart, price action over time theory, price action over any pattern you can find, price action over RSI, price action over MACD, price action over stochastic RSI, price action over Bollinger Band, price action over exponential moving average, price action over moving average, price action over stochastic RSI, price action over Hakunashi candle, price action over candles chart. What am I trying to say? Price action supersedes. If your tool is saying something else, whereas price action is doing something else, it only makes sense that you pay attention to what price action is doing and align whatever tool, whatever strategy, whatever everything but make sure you are looking and paying attention to what price action is doing, because price action is the determinant factor that will determine whether you are going to get a TP, or you are going to get a stop loss, or you are going to get liquidated. Don't mention, we know they do that here, but my own is what? Make sure you pay attention to some of the subtle information that I give here. Subtle but very, very high educating, knowledgeable information. I always say it, and I'm not being proud. Most of the information I give you guys here for free, I paid for it. I either paid for it with literal money, or I paid for it with my sweat, or I paid for it by sitting down and looking for articles to read it. But I'm going to give it to you guys for free because of the fact that you guys made it available to join FX Adventures live streaming session, and I appreciate you guys for that. And I hope you guys are learning one or two tricks or tips in this financial market of a thing. That's by the way. So on DXY, I don't think I would want to do much here. I would most likely want to buy DXY, but the time theory and the setup I'm seeing here is saying otherwise, and I don't want to be caught up in a situation whereby I am in the wrong direction and I'll be losing money unnecessarily. I'd rather lose money knowing that I traded the exact thing that I'm expected to trade, rather than lose money trying to trade every Tom, Dick and Harry that I see in the market. So that's that about that. I've already looked at DXY. With the understanding I have on DXY based on currency correlation, for the guys that have been joining me in my live streaming section, you already know that I don't need to come and start analyzing the likes of Euro USD from scratch or British Pound USD from scratch. Just understanding what's going on DXY, I can categorically tell you that I have an idea of what's going on there, and the best thing I can do for myself is not to waste much time there again to start analyzing them from scratch. Rather, I'll just have a look at them quickly, see if there is any misalignment or alignment or ways we can bring things together to make it work. All right, so right now, just looking at this, of course, total misalignment, everything is pointing for a sell. At the same time, the time structure I'm seeing here is pointing for a buy. As a matter of fact, this looks more like a buy than a sell. But based on the daily trend, I see there is more forces leaning towards the bearish side of things. So I wouldn't want to be buying in a market where the daily time frame is in a big or huge selling pressure. That is like you catching a falling knife. Of course, if you catch a falling knife, you would get yourself injured. Of course, that's what it is. All right, so here on UX Oil doing its own thing, we are not trading this guy. Of course, I think UX Oil is actually playing out the setup we had for yesterday. If you look at this trend line, these two trend line you see is from yesterday. You can see just after the breakout we saw here on yesterday. If you guys remember the yesterday trade, I told you guys the accumulation that happened on UX Oil did not allow the buy to play out. You can see there was an accumulation of the Q2 and price manipulated that Q2, then drove price down. That was what happened yesterday. But right about now in today's price, what do you see? Nice accumulation in Q1, price manipulated down. What do you see? That's your I nearly said a curse word right now. That's your price right there. This is the accumulation here. This is the manipulation down. Do you see that? So it means that yesterday, the external structure yesterday did not align itself properly for the buy that we wanted. Only for price to come today, and the external structure of today gave a clear picture of what I always tell you guys about accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Assuming I saw this trade on UX Oil, I don't know why I missed it, but it's fine and good. It would have been a very good buy entry. And the thing I like about this UX Oil trade is that both the external and the internal structure played out perfectly. Perfectly. This is the kind of setup you can never miss it. You can never miss it. But it is what it is. You win some, you miss out on some, and of course, you lose some. Here on BTC, for the guys that were in the live streaming yesterday, we had a call on the sell on BTC. This was the sell on BTC we had. Do you see how far BTC has gone? Assuming we held it till now, only God knows how much we will be seeing on our portfolio. But that's by the way. What do we think here? BTC is kind of pointing to a buy, just like how we have for other guys. But at the same time, the daily I'm on video, so yeah. The daily you can keep it here. The daily trend is pointing for a sell. So that's why I am not excited to take a buy entry on BTC. But the external structure based on the time theory, it is pointing for a buy. But like I told you guys, we are not going to trade it just because of the fact that the daily trend doesn't align itself with what is going on currently in the day in what do you call it, BTC. Here we have euro, British pound. Just looking at it already, I can tell you it is still the same thing across all board. I don't think I don't know if you guys are noticing something. The daily trend on all the currency pair that I've looked at right now, not all, but majority of the items in my watch list that I've looked at right now, it seems like the daily trend is saying something else, whereas the time theory, the quarter theory, is saying something else. I saw it on DXY, I saw it on Euro USD, I think I also saw it on somewhere else. Yeah, I'm now seeing it also on Euro British pound. This one is not Euro USD, this one is Euro against British pound. Same thing, same markets, same similar market structure, where the daily time frame is pointing to a different trend, and the quarter that we are trying to use to trade is pointing to a different trend. When you have those kind of divergence or misalignments, it's best you leave the price alone. It is best you leave the price alone. So all those guys that we see that are not aligned properly, we are not going to look at them twice. We'll just look at them once and we'll look away, because the more you look at it, the more you'll be tempted to take a trade on it. All right, okay, thank you for that. What else do we have here? New Zealand. Here on New Zealand, very nice manipulation here, but the internal structure here is misaligned, so we are not looking at that the second time. We'll leave it alone. Here we have HK. On HK, what do we see on HK? On HK, we had a very nice level here. Would have been nice if they took out that low first. Would have been very, very nice if they did take out that low. But let's see if they're going to do it. So if we can get something like this on HK, will be very, very nice. A price to come down, wiggle, then maybe launch us back up for the buy. But for now, nothing exciting is going on there. As you can see that throughout the morning till now, price has been ranging in this very tiny price or ranging market, as the case may be. So for me on HK50, nothing exciting is going on there. We are not going to look at it twice, we'll just leave it alone. On this guy is very shitty. Even the Q2 ranging, we need to see where they want to manipulate. I like the fact that the previous day is a bit compressed, so depending on the direction market is going to go will determine what we are going to do. But what I would most likely lean towards to will be a price that might take us out all the way to that top, then maybe reverse us back down. So this is what I would want to see, and the reason why I would want to see that is because if you look at this low here, you will see obviously that the market has been building up a lot of liquidity here, which I believe market or price will still want to go back there to take out those liquidities. Now we'll touch base on JP25. On JP25, totally misaligned. We are not looking at it double just looking at it already, I see a lot of things that are not aligned in it, and that's why I will just leave it alone. Do you guys remember this trade in the morning? This was the morning call we had. The only reason why we did not jump on this trade, for the guys that joined the morning section, was what? The slippage we have on XNS was huge, especially when it comes to USD CHF, USD Swiss franc. The slippage was big for us to enter that trade, and that was why we left it. But as you guys can see, the trade gave a very beautiful 2-to-1, and after the 2-to-1, price reversed back down again. But for this afternoon section, I don't think there is anything exciting I would want to do around it, so I'm going to leave it alone. So right now, I think we've covered all the items I have in my watch list. Now we'll go back and now focus on the ones that we took at the top of the watch list, because of the fact that we assume that they are the guys we want to trade for this afternoon section. Okay, I think I'm already seeing a crossover here on German index. I think it's a bit early. Let's go to XNS real quick and I'll open it and see if I can grab one or two around there. Okay, I hope I am not missing entirely out on that. So I'm going to switch it to yeah, this is a very good buy. I'm a bit late on it. Should I jump on it or not? Yes, jump on it. So I'm going to jump on it, but I'm going to put my stop loss first. Let me get an idea of where this market. So if I increase this blah 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 blah, I'll make it maybe I'll risk a very small amount, maybe $2. I want to test the water, so I'm using the line line chart. Please, I'm using the line chart for this confirmation, right? I'm using actually the line chart for this confirmation, of which the confirmation I'm picking here is this tiny guy there. All right, that's the guy there. And if I switch over to the candle, you will see that that guy there is exactly this green candle is what was used to break out of it. All right, see that green candle that was used to break out of it? Very beautiful one. And at the same time, we are seeing a very nice fair value gap built around there. So it will be a very nice thing to see if price can come back down. We'll be opening up maybe another entry there to see how far that goes. Okay, to whom it may concern, I can get you the stop loss, but for now I need you to be careful, because none of this is financial advice. We are only here to what? Educate ourselves, give you guys knowledge, and see how we can make money while doing that. Okay, so with that said, this is for me on DE30. So if we're able to get this, will be very, very nice. Let me get my drawing out for that, so that we'll be properly aligned on that particular guy there. So we might be looking for our 2-to-1 will be somewhere there. There will be our 2-to-1. So this time around, let's see what's going to happen. Let's see how this will play out. All right, I will touch base on the live streaming section so I can see you guys chat. Do you guys have questions, anything at all? Okay, unfortunately I'm the only person here. Unfortunately I'm the only person here, which is fine and good. It's okay. Anybody that misses out on this misses out on it, so it is what it is. All right, I think I've said a lot. Woo, bro, talking is energy, bro. A lot of energy is what I'm using right now to talk and talk. Woo. All right, that's that for German. Picking up more entries, of course, keeps on coming down, and I think that's exactly what I want to see price to do. So therefore, here I'm going to lay up